Hello, everybody. I'm Michelle. Let's get comfortable today. We are going to be studying in depth some really incredible information, which is a blend of information from heaven and from science. It comes from this book, which has 101 proofs for the absolute existence of God. It was written by Jim Stevens, a really wonderful person I know, a person of integrity and of truth. Okay, so let's start. I am going to be reading the absolute truth about the existence of God that can prove the existence of God. It's proof number 65, and it's called Mitochondrial Eve and Y-Chromosome Atom. Okay. Genetic scientists seem to be in a general agreement that we are all descendants of one woman and one man. This research was fairly recent, starting about 1978. They, of course, do not believe in the creation story of Adam and Eve in the Bible, but their conclusions are getting closer and closer. In case you have not heard about this, it makes very interesting reading, but I think it raises a number of profound challenges to the theory of evolution. The scientists base the above conclusions on the known facts of human reproduction, specifically on properties of the sperm and egg. Let's talk about mitochondrial Eve. What are mitochondria? They are membrane-bound organelles found in the cells of all plants, animals, fungi, and many other forms of life. Mitochondria have been described as the powerhouse of the cell because they generate most of the cell supply of adenosine triphosphate, or we can say ATP, used as a source of chemical energy. Every person inherits his or her mitochondria for every cell in their body exclusively from their mother. The father contributes only a sperm cell to the developing fetus. But a sperm has only a small amount of mitochondria in the tail that gets used up in propulsion or else destroyed after fertilizing the egg. Researchers sampled the DNA from the mitochondria in 147 people from all the major racial groups of the world. From this DNA, they concluded that we all descended from a single woman. They think she must have lived between 99,000 and about 200,000 years ago in Africa. It's a theory and has its opponents, but it has gained a lot of support. The theory is interesting, but a little complicated. I encourage you to read up on it if you would like to. Scientists believe there were other women alive at the same time, but their line of descendants died out or does not include all living humans today. This common female ancestor of all anatomically modern humans alive today was nicknamed mitochondrial Eve. Okay, let's talk about the Y chromosome, Adam. What is the Y chromosome? Probably you learned about it in school. The Y chromosome is one of two sex chromosomes, allosomes, called allosomes, in mammals, including humans and many other animals. The other is the X chromosome. Y is the sex-determining chromosome in many species, since it is the presence or absence of Y that determines the male or female sex of offspring produced in sexual reproduction. Females do not have a Y chromosome in their cells. Only males inherit Y chromosomes, and they always come from the father only. Therefore, researchers can study the Y chromosomes of men all over the world and can then theorize that all men are related and, in fact, descended from one man long ago. This is based on certain changes to the DNA in the Y chromosomes. By theorizing about the rate of mutations or types of changes to the DNA itself, they can make predictions about a common male ancestor. It is believed that many generations ago, the ancestor of all men came from the same tribe, and finally, a single great, 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 great grandfather. The conclusion is this: that we are all descendants of one male ancestor, and he has received the nickname of Y chromosome Adam. He lived, by various estimates, between 120,000 and 338,000 years ago. And by analyzing the divergence of DNA in earthly populations, it was determined that he also likely lived in Africa. Yeah. This is a nice coincidence because most religious groups also believe that all humans are descendants from one man and one woman. Scientists have not concluded that they mated with each other, but they do put them in Africa, and within a few thousand years of each other. Religious people believe that God miraculously created the first man and woman. Secularists and evolutionists believe that there were many other humans around at the same time as mitochondrial Eve or Y chromosome Adam, but their lineages did not result in an unbroken line to all humans alive today. So let's now look at some of the contradictions and challenges that the evolutionists have to deal with. First off, scientists say that roughly 200,000 years ago, plus or minus 100,000, a male and a female existed that were anatomically just like us. Over the 200,000 years until today, although there have been mutations in their genes, they are still humans just like us. This means that there has been no evolution or species change for 200,000 years. There has been no evolving since that couple. There is no slow and gradual change that Darwin predicted for the last 200,000 years. Think about that for a minute. If there has been no observable change in the last 200,000 years, how can we be so sure that there was any change the previous 200,000 years? Or how about the 200,000 years before that, right? If there has been no evidence in genetic research of evolution in the last 200,000 years, why assume evolution is true at all? They are building their case on faith, aren't they? Secondly, 200,000 years is a long time without significant change. The human body is extremely complicated, and the time frame is just too short for evolution to be true. Current scientific belief is that humans diverged from apes about 5 to 7 million years ago. A new study of genes in humans and chimpanzees pins down with greater accuracy when the two species split from one. The evolutionary divergence occurred between 5 million and 7 million years ago, an estimate that improves on the previous range of 3 million to 13 million years in the past. Modern chimps are the closest animal relative to humans. There are some very major changes that had to take place in the body structure of apes to turn them into humans. Remember also that both female humans and male humans had to evolve from ape-like creatures. Presumably, both the male and female had to evolve thousands of similar changes at very nearly the same time for natural selection to be working. Imagine if women evolved, but men didn't. Then the men, let me pause here. Life goes on. Presumably, both the male and female had to evolve thousands of similar changes at very nearly the same time for natural selection to be working. Imagine if women evolved but men didn't. Then the men would still walk around and be shaped like chimpanzees. Very little, if anything, has actually changed in human bodies in the last 200,000 years, according to genetic scientists. Where is the slow and gradual change predicted by Darwin? 5 million is only 25 times 200,000. If almost nothing changes in 200,000 years, then how could there be millions of dramatic changes in the previous 4,800,000? It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. So I'm going to pause here. We're going to call this part 1. Okay. Wow. So thank you so much, Jim. We're looking forward to the conclusion. Right. Okay. So I'll see you all in a little bit. Take care. Bye.